Hello, my name is Darryl Kwao with the latest business updates. Construction of cocoa roads that have stalled will soon resume. Information Minister Kojo Ponkuma said this follows the completion of an audit report on all cocoa roads in the country. It is expected that over 3 billion cedis of cocoa roads will commence under a new program in cocoa growing areas.
In the second half of this year, road infrastructure, especially cocoa roads, are expected to see a major boost nationwide upon the resumption of the cocoa roads as well as the commencement of other road projects. It will be recalled that the administration suspended work on cocoa road projects for an audit to take place and to allow for rescoping and proper alignment of funds to execute these projects. Upon completion of this exercise, some of the projects have been terminated, some have been rescoped, some have been handed over to the proper agencies such as the Highways Authority as well as the Department of Urban Roads that have the mandate to fully fund and execute them. Funding is also now being made available for the commencement of particularly the cocoa roads with the assurance that contractors can actually be paid for works that they have been doing. It is expected that over 3 billion cedis worth of cocoa roads are set to commence under the new program in the cocoa growing areas across the country. Other road projects as funded through the central government budget and road fund are expected to pick up during the year. This, among other things, includes the famous Lekma and other roads which have already been given out to contractors who are mobilizing to site.
Now, there are calls for government to review requirements for indigenous companies that want a stake in the oil blocks which are being allocated. Local players are expected to provide 5% capital before they are allowed to partner an international firm to acquire an oil block. However, getting companies to raise such capital has been a challenge for the country. Speaking to Joy Business, Chairman of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, Dr. Steve Mantiel, called for a downward review of the requirement.
Common sense tells me that we may have to revise that 5% threshold. We are not under any obligation to impose a threshold that we know we cannot meet as part of the pre-qualification or as part of the award processes for contracts in the oil and gas sector. It's for me symptomatic of how we do target setting in this country. Most of the times they appear as guesswork. Because if we have done proper due diligence, it should have become known to us long ago that the 5% capital requirement for Ghanaian participation in any block was overly too high. And that we could have actually staggered it, that perhaps within the first 10 years we'll be aiming at 2%. And then beyond, when companies have been incapacitated enough, we now move up the threshold to about 5%. So definitely, yes, to your question, I think it becomes very necessary to revise the 5% requirement for indigenous Ghanaian company participation in blocks in the oil industry.
And there's plenty to talk about on the marketplace in about 15 minutes. It's back to you, Daniel.
Thanks, Darryl. Can't wait for the marketplace later today. It's time now for sports, though. Benedict also is here.